welcome back to J.P.s World of Wrestling. I am your man JP, and once again, we've got an empty backdrop because my wife and I are moving, so I took down all the posters and stuff. And last time I talked about Royal Rumble 1994, so today we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble 1995. At this point, the WWF is in full-fledged new generation mode. You know, Bret Hart's the top guy, even though I think at this point Diesel is the champion. But, you know, they were just really trying him on for size, just to see if, oh, maybe he could be our next big guy. But he was really low drawing. He was like the lowest drawing champion in history. Bret Hart was the second lowest drawing champion in history. But really, the WWF was kind of struggling at the time because they were doing a lot of like cheesy gimmicks and stuff, and they were struggling to find their footing. So it really wasn't Diesel's fault. It wasn't Bret's fault. It was just the wrestling business at the time. You know, people were just getting tired of wrestling, so they weren't really tuning in every week. And WWF, they were having to run smaller venues because they weren't filling arenas like they used to. So, you know, it was what it was. So once again, and I forgot to mention this the last time, but we're talking about the Royal Rumble Anthology. This is Volume 2. And, you know, the corners are worn. Not as much as Volume 1, but still, you know, even though these Royal Rumbles, you know, weren't the best, I still love the Royal Rumble. It's like my favorite pay-per-view throughout the course of the year. And I have not yet gotten to watch the most recent Royal Rumble from this year, just because I'm busy with work and everything. But I am going to watch it eventually. I know the results already. I know who won everything. So anyway, let's take a look at this card, shall we? Sorry. Okay, so we have an Intercontinental title match. We have Jeff Jarrett versus Razor Ramon. And so what happened in this match is Razor Ramon was the champion. Jeff Jarrett was the challenger. And at one point, Razor injured his knee. And so he was outside the ring and he got counted out. So Jeff Jarrett wins the match by countout. But then Jeff Jarrett gets on the microphone saying, I don't want to win the match that way. You come on down here so I can beat you with a pinfall so I can win the title. You chicken? So Razor, he doesn't want to be called a chicken. Nobody calls him chicken, even though he was wearing yellow. So Razor gets in the ring, the match continues, and Jeff Jarrett actually ends up winning the match by pinfall and wins the Intercontinental title. So Jeff Jarrett becomes, and at this point, he's sort of being, you know, managed by the roadie, even though he's not really a manager. He's just a guy that cheats and helps him win matches. Anyway, so then we have Irwin R. Shyster versus Undertaker. And at the time, the story was the Undertaker had kind of been feuding with the $1 Million Corporation. So much so that they stole his urn. They stole Undertaker's urn from Paul Bearer. And so Irwin R. Shyster was the next in line to try to take out the Undertaker. So at one point during the match, Paul Bearer had regained possession of the urn. But shortly after that, Kama came down. Kama, a.k.a. Papa Shango. But Kama came down, attacked Paul Bearer, and took the urn back. And so that didn't last long. But the Undertaker still won the match. He still was able to beat Irwin R. Shyster. Yeah, so then we had WWF Championship match. Bret Hart versus Diesel. This match was kind of a long match because all of Bret Hart's matches were really long. But Diesel was able to hang. He was able to stay in there. I think it was a decent match for a guy like Diesel, who was almost 7 feet tall, 300 pounds, to be in a match for that long. But anyway, the match ended in a double DQ or a no contest because Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels and Bob Backlund kept interfering in the match. because all three of those guys had a grudge against both Diesel and Bret Hart. So referee was tired of dealing with it, so he just threw the match out. And so Diesel retained the title just by default. Anyway, so then we had a tag team title match. So basically they had this tag team tournament thing where the 1-2-3 Kid and Sparkplug Bob Holly were just kind of a random, team that was kind of thrown together. They were kind of like a wild card team, and they ended up making it to the finals. And so they were wrestling Tatanka and Bam Bam Bigelow of the Millionaire Corporation. Well, Bob Holly, the 1-2-3 Kid, won the match, won the tag team titles, but that was the end of the story. After the match, because the way the match ended was, so Bam Bam Bigelow had body slammed Bob Holly, and then he was going to go up to the top rope to try to do a backflip, but instead Tatanka picked up Bob Holly, and then Bam Bam Bigelow ended up backflipping and landing on his face, and so 1-2-3 Kid kicked Tatanka out of the ring, and then Bob Holly got the 1-2-3, and they won the titles. And so Tatanka and DiBiase just left Bam Bam in the ring by himself. And he actually legit had like a black eye and a swollen cheek. And at ringside was Lawrence Taylor, a football legend. And Lawrence Taylor was kind of laughing at him, but Bam Bigelow came down and pushed Lawrence Taylor, thus setting up their match for WrestleMania. WrestleMania 13, I believe. Or no, 11. Yes, it was. Sorry. I had to think of what year it was. But no. So it set up the main event for WrestleMania 11. Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow. So, that's that match. And then it was the Royal Rumble match. This match was kind of faster than all the other ones because wrestlers came in 1 minute increments instead of 2 minute to minute and a half increments. So Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog started this thing off. They wrestled through all other 28 guys, and then it was down to them two again at the very end. So what happened was British Bulldog clotheslined Shawn Michaels over the top, and then they just assumed that he was the winner. So they even started playing his music, and they put up a graphic that said he'd won. But then Shawn Michaels comes in, pushes Bulldog off the top turnbuckle because Bulldog was kind of celebrating. Shawn Michaels comes in, hits Bulldog. Bulldog falls over the top onto the floor. Then they declare Shawn Michaels the winner, and they say that, no, Shawn Michaels, only one of his feet touched the floor, so therefore he was able to kind of climb back into the ring and win the match. So then Shawn Michaels won the right to go to WrestleMania to wrestle Diesel. Now, the interesting thing about this match, too, was that Pamela Anderson, who was a big actress at the time, she was on Baywatch. Everybody knew who she was, this blonde actress that was in some B-title movies, but she was known for being on Baywatch. She was at ringside, and she was going to escort the winner of the Royal Rumble in the main event at WrestleMania. So because Shawn Michaels won the Royal Rumble, she kind of came into the ring and kind of stood with him. And indeed, she would be at WrestleMania, except she would end up escorting Diesel to the ring instead of Shawn Michaels. So, anyway. But yeah, so that was Royal Rumble 1995. 1995 was kind of a slow year for the WWF because there really wasn't much going on. They were, Bret Hart, they were kind of trying to find a way to put the belt back on Bret. Because Diesel kind of wasn't working out as the champion, so they put the belt back on Bret eventually. And then they start building Bret back up, but then Shawn Michaels started gaining momentum, so the very next year, Shawn Michaels would win the title. Anyway, it was kind of a slow time because they had Bret, and they had Shawn, and they had Razor Ramon, and they had The Undertaker, but those guys, for whatever reason, those guys just weren't enough to carry the company. You know, ever since Hulk Hogan left, you know, the company had kind of struggled. Had kind of struggled to kind of find their footing and kind of, you know, latch on to something. So, but it wouldn't be long after that before, you know, the Attitude Era would start. And even though I didn't like the Attitude Era, I have to admit they did make a lot of money during that time period. And so, but this is about 1995 and the 1995 Rumble. So there you have it, the 1995 Royal Rumble. I always enjoyed the Royal Rumble. This one was okay. It wasn't my favorite. These Volume 2 Rumbles, they're not great. But I still enjoyed them better than the Attitude Era Royal Rumbles. So, anyway, there you have it. That's 1995 Royal Rumble. Did you like the 95 Rumble or did you not like it? Why? Why not? Leave them in the comments below. So if you're new, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channels. We're almost at 100. We're almost at 100 subscribers. And so you can share this video too. So I just need one more subscriber to make 100. So keep the subscription coming. And that's going to do it for this video. So I will see you next time.